All right, we have an absolutely loaded show coming your way on today's San Francisco 49ers Report, and here's everything that's on the rundown. And if you plan on watching every single second of this show, you're a real one, so type real one down in the comments section. I'm going to explain how this new NFL rule could be huge for the San Francisco 49ers. We have a new Trent Williams contract and holdout update. We also have some Niners injury news and bonus story, San Francisco making some roster moves today ahead of tomorrow's deadline. We are shooting for 137,000 subscribers with this show right here on the Niners Report. I'm Chase Sr. We are 29 people away. Let's do it for Talanoa Hufanga. Hit that sub button right now for daily shows on the Bang Bang Niner Gang. As for that new NFL rule, let me break it down for everybody and simplify it. There are new IR rules this year that impact really all 32 teams across the National Football League. What is it? So teams can designate up to 2 players to return by putting them on short-term IR. And those players do not count toward that team's 53-man roster. And those players don't have to be let go, clear through waivers, risking you losing those players to another team. You can keep them in-house with your football operation. In the past, if you put a player on IR, they're automatically done for the year. So starting today, this doesn't count for like Drake Jackson, which was done a few weeks ago. You can designate up to 2 players who go on short-term IR. Those players don't impact your 53-man roster, and pretty much it gives a team like the Niners, who are dealing with some injured players, and other teams across the National Football League, some fluid roster flexibility. And that roster flexibility is really important this time of year, especially with the team like the Niners. They are very deep at linebacker. They are very deep at corner. They are very deep at wide receiver. They might not know which players they want to keep on their 53, which players they want to let go, because if they let go of some of those players, they have to clear through waivers. There is not a guarantee that that player that you let go is going to clear through waivers so that then you can sign him to the practice squad. And I've seen a lot of people in the comment section saying, release X and sign him to the practice squad. It's not how it works. We've seen the Niners with some players who have performed well throughout training camp and the preseason let go of some of these players. They don't make the initial 53-man roster, and San Francisco is hoping they clear through waivers so that they can then sign them to the practice squad. But other teams are also keeping tabs on some of these other players across the NFL. They're watching tape. And if a team lets go of a player who they covet and they like, they can then add that player to their 53-man roster. So you think about a player like Drake Jackson. He's already out for the year because a couple of weeks ago, the Niners placed him on season-ending IR. But with the player like Talanoa Hufanga, you put him on short-term IR. He doesn't count toward the 53, and it allows you to save a roster spot to keep another corner, to keep another linebacker, to keep another wide receiver. I hope you all were able to grasp that. And here is the new NFL rule here to further clarify everything from the league's competition committee. To permit each club to place a maximum of 2 players who are placed on an applicable reserve list on the business day of the final roster reduction to be designated for a return. Such players will immediately count as 2 of the club's total designations. Players who kind of fit this billing and fit that rule, Talanoa Hufanga. He tore his ACL last November. He hasn't practiced yet with San Francisco. And it's a little bit of a risk to rush him coming off that torn ACL. So do the Niners elect to put him on short-term IR? He misses the first 4 games. He gets back to 100%. You kind of monitor your safety position on your team. You hold on to another player, and it just buys you some time over the next few weeks. Danny Gray didn't practice today. Also is injured. Niners are deep at wideout. Are they still intrigued by a deep threat? I frankly don't think that Danny Gray is an NFL player, but that's another example here. D. Winters, he got banged up against the Las Vegas Raiders, has to undergo an MRI. And if the Niners don't think that he can be ready for week 1, he's a young developmental piece who has clearly shown some flashes. Do you put him on short-term IR? And Ricky Pearsall did return to practice today wearing a blue medical jersey, but he has suffered multiple shoulder subluxation injuries. And if he re-injures that, does he get put on short-term IR? Does he undergo season-ending surgery? Again, it comes down to having optionality and roster-building flexibility. As for the Niners injury report, these players practicing today in the shadows of Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Ricky Pearsall coming off that shoulder, again, was in that blue non-contact injury. Isaac Yiadom, cornerback, ankle injury. I think that he could end up being one of the better value contracts across the NFL because last year, analytically, according to Pro Football Focus, with what I saw on tape, he played really good shutdown ball as an outside corner for a very good defense with the New Orleans Saints. And then Spencer Burford coming off a broken hand. Of note, Dominic Pooney, still the starting right guard. The rookie third-round pick out of Kansas continues to play excellent football. And last week on KNBR, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch on separate occasions both talked about Dominic Pooney as this team's starting right guard going and looking ahead to week 1 against the New York Jets. San Francisco also making multiple roster moves on this Monday to kick off the weekend. A lot of teams across the NFL are doing this ahead of the 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific deadline on Tuesday when all teams across the league have to cut their rosters from 90 players to 53. You get ahead of this, you kind of do players a favor because then they have the opportunity to sign with other teams. So running back Matt Breida released on Monday morning. I think that means that Elijah Mitchell is going to make this 53-man roster. Running back Keyshawn Vaugn also released. He was never going to make the team. Punter Pressley Harvin performed pretty well during the preseason. A couple of pin punts inside the 10. I did think on a couple of occasions he outpunted the coverage, leading to big returns. But teams are looking for a punter who's accurate with pinning the offense inside that 5-10 yard line. And Harvin showed that he could do that. Offensive lineman Lewis Kidd waived. And then wide receiver Jontre Kirklin also waived by San Francisco. So some news items there in addition to talking about what that new NFL rule could do for San Francisco. And we're only ramping up here on the Niners Report. Coming up next, we have a new Trent Williams update following the NFL preseason and going in to NFL roster cuts. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's cue this up. Shout out to our sponsor, Game Time, for making today's show possible. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That's code CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. What time is it? Game Time. Let me tell you about what this app features. All-in pricing is awesome where you can toggle the feature. It shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Going to sporting events, but also tickets available on this app include comedy shows, concerts, theater events. I love comedy. I love music. I love sports. That's why I love the Game Time app. They specialize in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. So the more that you wait up until the start of the game or the event, the more that those tickets go down. I just love this function too. When you're going to a stadium, you can actually see what you'll be seeing and the price point, but also if you are particular and specific about what yard line you want to sit at, in this case, Levi Stadium, New York Jets, week 1, you can see, okay, seats available, 300 level, 30-yard line. I like that price point. Boom. And I get $20 off thanks to the homies on the 49ers Report and at Chat Sports. San Francisco Giants tickets also available at Oracle Park. It's always been a dream of mine to just hang out in McCovey Cove. I don't get to catch a Barry Bonds home run any longer, but it's one of the best ballparks in all of Major League Baseball. So if you want to put together some great memories, you want to go to a game, concert, comedy show, theater event, or more, download the Game Time app. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Yeah, what time is it? Check your watch. Oh, what do I see? Game Time. Latest Trent Williams update here. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reporting on Monday morning that Trent Williams will continue to hold out even after the preseason, even going into Tuesday's NFL roster cuts. And this comes after Matt Mayoko, NBC Sports Bay Area, said on his show that I would guess Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk would be at Niners practice on Wednesday. San Francisco, at that point, about a week and a half out, taking on the New York Jets week 1 on Monday Night Football. And also Jeremy Fowler reporting that Williams' holdout could last into the season if San Francisco does not get this deal done, because it appears as though this is going to continue to be a holdout. There won't be a hold in, and Trent Williams wants to get paid and compensated, and he's not going to return to the Niners until that happens. And in this case, he has all of the leverage because he's the best left tackle in the game, and this San Francisco offense and Brock Purdy's blind side, they are screwed if they don't have Trent Williams holding down the anchor at left tackle in the run game, in the pass game. Here's more from Jeremy Fowler on the Trent Williams situation. I was told from somebody involved in the situation that he is not going to be available until he gets his contract adjusted. He's got 3 years left on his deal. That could bleed into the regular season with us just being a few weeks away. This is a player who has made about $150 million in his career. He's not overly stressed to have to be out there right now, and he's the 4th highest paid left tackle despite being the best the last few years. Lastly, the 49ers know they have to do something here. They could sweeten the guarantees on the contract, but they're dealing with Brandon Ayuk at the same time. Yes, indeed they are, and that has been the storyline that has dominated the offseason, training camp, and preseason for San Francisco. It has been the Brandon Ayuk situation and now the Trent Williams dilemma. As for the remainder of that Williams deal, he is slated to make a lot of money. $20.8 million this year, $23.25 in 2025, and then nearly $33 million in 2026. The issue, none of that money is guaranteed. So let's spitball here. If Trent Williams were to come back this year without a new deal that is reconstructed, or he gets some more guaranteed money and he were to get hurt, and at 36 years old, it's a severe injury, that means that the Niners do not have to pay him the $23.25 in 2025 or the nearly $33 million in 2026. So for the player, and from Trent Williams' point of view, his standpoint, he wants that long-term financial stability and commitment to know that if something were to happen, the Niners just can't cut bait, wipe their hands and say, we're done with Trent Williams, no more guaranteed money. We love you. What you did for us was special. You're a future Hall of Famer, a perennial All-Pro and Pro Bowler, but we're good here. And you understand where Trent Williams is coming from. This is the exact reason why Christian McCaffrey did not attend voluntary OTAs earlier this spring. And I had talked about this on this show. And I was the first one to talk about it among all Niners content creators. And people were like, Chase, this is clickbait. You're crazy. Well, then what happened? Christian McCaffrey got a contract extension through 2027, some guaranteed money, his average annual value up to 19. He once again reset the running back market. And what happened? He reported. So that's what Trent Williams is looking at here. And for Williams and Ayuk, they're looking around saying, the Niners have paid all these other players. We've been focal points of this team the last few years as we've had a lot of team success. And I've had individual success. Where's my bag? And also, if you're Trent Williams, just like the wide receiver market reset and exploded on numerous occasions this offseason, which in turn has made Brandon Ayuk a more expensive player, the offensive tackle market has reset. It is also skyrocketed. And Trent Williams now is the 6th highest paid offensive tackle in the game, yet he has an argument to be made. He's the best player among these players on your screen, yet he's not getting compensated as such. It's all about leverage these days, ladies and gentlemen. Tristan Wirfs this offseason with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He plays right tackle, but he got paid $28+ million by the Tampa Bay Bucs. Penei Sewell, also a right tackle, not as valuable as left tackle. $28 million from the Detroit Lions. Christian Darrisaw, $26 million from the Minnesota Vikings. Laramie Tunsil, he's still making 25 even. and Andrew Thomas 23.5. And there you see Trent Williams at $23 million. So Trent Williams does have leverage on his side because he's such a great player for this team. The Niners desperately need him. And even though he is 36 years old, he is still playing at an extraordinarily high level, yet he's not getting compensated as a top 5 player at his position. I'll tell you this. The San Francisco 49ers have to figure this out. The 49ers cannot go into week 1 with Super Bowl aspirations against a very good New York Jets defense with Jalen Moore at left tackle and Colton McKivitz at right tackle. Jalen Moore is a backup offensive tackle in this league at best, and Colton McKivitz is the worst starting right tackle in the National Football League. Last year, Brock Purdy was pressured so often. He bailed the Niners out with his ability to make plays out of structure, to use his legs once things break down. So far this preseason, the Niners' offensive line has not been good. Whether it be Nick Sakel filling in for Aaron Banks at left guard, he's getting bulldozed, or Jalen Moore struggling at left tackle, it seems as though more times than not, when Brock Purdy is dropped back to throw, he has pressure in his face, and this is in the preseason. This is going up against some backups across the National Football League. When the Niners have run play action to that weak side, the Trent Williams side, on multiple occasions, Brock Purdy has turned around after that fake handoff, looking to make a throw downfield, and he's had an edge rusher right in his face. This Jets defense, especially their front, is no joke, and the Niners can't go into week 1 with bad offensive tackle play, because if Brock Purdy goes down, your Super Bowl hopes go down the drain. Be sure to give me a follow on social media. I'm on X at Chase_Senior. I'm on Instagram at Chase_Senior as well. Same handle on both platforms. I put out a lot of Niners content in addition to long form content over there. So I look forward to hearing from you.